financials, but I saw something on natural gas I'm going to share with you. To me, it's kind of interesting. So I'm going to just switch over here, natural gas. Natural gas was a market that I really liked. 15, 20 years ago is really something I spent a lot of time on. And what I'm seeing here, so this is momentum. And what we used to do is look at a lot of divergence. And you don't really look at divergence as a day trader. It's not really relevant as much as it long term. Okay, so long term, weekly futures contracts that are out into the distance. So you can be looking at March of 2024, things like that. Okay, but what I'm seeing here in natural gas is, and we can definitely start to pay attention to it, is that it's definitely hitting some type of bottom. And I'm thinking that this is going to go ballistic. And I'll tell you a couple of reasons why. First reason, natural gas may go higher, which I really believe it is cyclical. We're in a hurricane season. I'm in Florida, so I definitely know about the hurricane situation down here. So I know that any little thing, any tropical storm, the price is going to pop. It's going to get excited. Number one. Number two is we're coming up on heating oil and crude oil into a seasonal effect, and seasonality always has the energy sector going higher as we get into Thanksgiving and Christmas, and everybody has to heat their homes. That's problem number two, that I believe that the natural gas is going to go up. The third instance is that there's divergence, and I'm going to show you what that divergence is. So the market made a new low here, did not make a new low, made a new low in the momentum here. It's diverging here. I can tell you that at some point we're going to see this go ballistic, and I am definitely going to buy natural gas. And I'm not big on wedges and things like that. Maybe some of you are, but I just, I'm starting to see that. And I don't teach any of this stuff, by the way. I don't do wedges. I don't do Japanese candlestick interpretation. I'm more of a price action trader at this stage in my life. I like to sleep at night, but I can see this. I can see everything here for a bull run. And I'm just sharing it with you. I could be totally wrong, maybe, but in my experience, we may see some opportunities in natural gas. They have micro natural gas. You don't have to buy the big contract. Do a micro if you're comfortable with it. And so just giving you guys some opportunities here. This is natural gas. Any questions? All right. So I covered the roadmap. I gave you a little insight on the natural gas. If anyone has any questions or like to join or is interested in the Autopilot or any other software, send me an email, give me a call. I'm happy to discuss your options with you. I want to make sure that the things that I teach are right for you guys, and take it nice and slow. We are right now slow, period, but it's going to pick up, especially in September when back to school and all everybody gets back into the swing of things. I do expect the market to ramp up the volatility, so just be careful. And if you're using some type of filter, it always works best instead of just trading, with one thing. Having a filter like the roadmap, along with whatever you're doing, is always a benefit. Sure, Ness, do you have any questions on any other tools? Autopilot? So the Autopilot is something new. It's unique. Uses price action. I can turn it on now because it's aftermarket, and so it's a strategy. Buys and sells automatically for you. We have a couple of different settings for slow markets, fast markets. Usually I like to use a 1,000 tick chart with this instead of a minute chart's good too, but a 1,000 tick chart or a 15-second chart I've been working on as well. And it's not so much, we don't want to trade 100 times a day. It's not. A lot of people use this for that reason. I think that it's better to be up for the day and then turn it off. We don't want to have it 24 hours a day. That's really not what I want. So a couple of the settings here that we have. The most important one, I think, is setting the time. So I'm New York time, Eastern time, so I like to trade within 10:15 in the morning to 3 o'clock. Now the market's been slow, so even starting it off a little bit earlier, 10 o'clock or 9:45 is okay. Now the reason why I try to avoid, or I tried 10:15, is because I don't want to get caught up with the news at 10 o'clock. Right? There's a news event at 10 o'clock on some days, and I'm trying to avoid that as well. And even this here, 3 o'clock with the FOMC, it's good to stop it at 2 o'clock as well instead of going through the FOMC. So we have times. We also have a setting for the profit and loss for the day, which means that if you only want to risk $1,000 or $500, you can set this to whatever, and it'll stop trading once it reaches either a loss for the day or a profit target for the day. So it's not going to continue to trade if any of these are turned on. So I have it turned off right now so we can see all the signals, but you would turn it on by the check mark. The other thing you can do here is, where is the trailing stop? Right here. So I have it currently at 7 ticks trailing, 7 ticks break even, 8 ticks trailing stop. So this can be adjusted. And the way this works is that once the market it starts going in your favor, not that you have to lock it down that's so tight, but if it starts going in your favor, you can either just start trailing the stop from wherever your stop happens to be, so it's now moving behind it just by the trailing stop, or you can do break even and trailing stop. And break even basically means that once it goes in your favor, let's say by 8 ticks, it brings up your stop to where you entered. So if it happens to reverse, it gets you out of the trade. So that's a break even. The next thing is if it just continues in your favor, then it'll trail from where you entered, not from where your stop originally is. So we have the two settings: the break even to just bring up your stop to where you entered, so you're not going to lose money. Maybe you lose in slippage. If it happens to go, and come back, you may have a tick of slippage or so. And then the trailing stop. I really like the trailing stop, by the way. I think it's a cool feature that was implemented. You can use it without the break even as well. And the other one that I added recently on a recommendation from one of the students was maximum bars in a loss. I thought it was a great idea, which is if the market is wrong, I don't want to hold on to a losing position. I want to get rid of it as fast as possible. So it's not maximum bars in the market. So this is if you're winning and it hasn't yet hit your target, it'll get out of the position after. I have it here set to 75 candles. Remember, I'm using a tick chart, so you can definitely adjust this for minutes. But the maximum bars basically means if I go long and then 2 red candles appear that are putting me negative, it closes the position. It says, nope, it's not working. So this is pretty tight. It's really aggressive here to 2. I'm going to show it and we turn it on for you. And
order submitted.
So you can see that immediately it's putting a position. So the way it works is that it buys and sells, or it looks to buy and looks to sell. Well, first of all, I have it the wrong tick chart. Sorry about that. Give it this a second
canceled.
Here. Okay. So it does a buy and it does a sell automatically. And whichever happens, so it updates on every candle. It's bracketing what you're seeing here. And if it goes down, it'll place the target and the stop automatically. So right now we're after hours and the market's really slow. I'm not sure how much activity we're going to see. And so I can force it. Let me see if it... Oh, I have to wait until the market. There we go. So now you're short, right? I forced the fill. And it creates the stop if it's wrong, and it creates the target automatically. So on the chart trader, it does the same thing, right? So I'm not using the ATM strategy, so this is not part of it. It doesn't work. And so if the market goes down enough, this will start to trail behind it. If you have the break even, once the market goes in your favor, this automatically just goes straight to break even. So I can't really show it to you at the moment because there's nothing really happening here. The market's dead, right? It's gonna start up here in a little bit. Maybe in the Asian session or the London session later today. But it places these trades for you. And like I said, if we have 2 or 3 or however many candles that are losing, instead of you holding on to a losing position based off the initial stop, it'll just close out the position. No. Stefan has a good question here. On the break even, is there an offset that can be applied, such as +1? It's not like the ATM strategy. What you can do, let me just go back to here. What you can do is once this moves to let's say 7 or 6 ticks, let's say that you change these values and you want it to be +1, this is where you would do that. You would change the break even to 1. I'm sorry, the trailing stop to 1. So let's say that it goes 5 ticks. Now you want it to trigger or trail behind it by 1. This is essentially almost the same thing what you want to do. I think it's Stefan. Stefan, is it? Stefan, yeah. To a +1. So once it goes in your favor, it'll go to break even, and then you stick it to 1 on the trailing stop. So that's essentially almost where you're trying to achieve a +1 on the break even. Similar, a little different, but similar. Just a different way to handle it as an option. Yep, you can use backtest. You can use playback connection. You can do optimization. Absolutely. Ed, this is the autopilot. It is. That's correct. So it has all these features. It depends on the chart. So, for example, 60-minute charts. You know, if you're looking more as a trader that doesn't want to be in and out constantly, the hourly chart works well. If you're somebody, so you have less trades, to answer your question, but the results are pretty good. It's more of a swing trader. Every trade is like 2 or 3 hours. It works pretty good. 60%, 65% last I saw. Some trades are going to be losing trades, obviously, right? So it's not a holy grail. Like nothing is a holy grail. The smaller time charts, like 1,000 or a 15-second time chart. So I have here I'll show you as an example, 15-second, because that way we can see more signals, right? Just to give you kind of a sense. And the templates I have here, we'll do 15-second-2. So these are different templates that I have: after hours, NASDAQ. So you can trade it on different markets. You just have to test for it. We'll just do this one here, and I'll turn it on. Okay. So right now it's on. It's waiting for the next opportunity. This is a 15-second chart. And actually, you know what? I think I may have it set to the time. Yeah, that's why. So I had the time set here to only trade within a certain amount of times. That's why you're seeing that. Let's do that one more time. We'll do 15-2. And I'll make sure that the time section is off. Right, so we're not trading just in between these times, or else it won't work. It'll force it only to trade the hours that you want it to trade. And turn this on. Okay.
Order submitted.
All right, so we have here an opportunity to be a buyer here, if it goes up, or a seller. And then so if the market starts to continue and it's not going to fill this, what you'll see is it recalculate and a new buy and a new sell will occur. So this is on a 15-second chart. So like I said, the market's right now, it's not working. No, it's dead. It's really slow and waiting for it to reopen again. Standalone. Yes, it's standalone, Ed. Correct. I wish I could show you it live, but not at the moment here at after hours. Yes, so the targets and the stops are all decided by the strategy automatically. Yes, that's correct. So the strategy actually does it all, and you can set the target and the stop here. Let me just shut this off to whatever you want. So if you, for example, want to profit, say I have a pretty big profit target of 80 ticks and a stop loss of 20 ticks in this example, so you can set it separately from buy and from sell. In the first version of the autopilot, it was one target for both buy and sell and one stop for buy and sell. But in version 3 here, that the most latest version, we separated out because some traders wanted a larger target for the sell or a larger target for the stop, or you say I want 8 ticks if I buy and I want 12 ticks if I sell. Now there's a reason for this. I'm going to explain to you why this is important. The markets usually fall faster than they go up. So if the market's in a situation of sell-off, a couple of days of sell-off, you'll see it go much further. The distance the market moves under a selling pressure is much stronger. It'll go, maybe 1.5 times the distance that it took for it to go up. It'll do that in a short amount of time. So markets drop or fall faster than they climb. It'll take months for the market to go up, and you can give all those gains back in a couple weeks. So there's a reason for that separation there. Hopefully I answered that question there. You can back test it, Benny? Yes? So the offset and buy, the offset here is how many ticks from where we currently are for the market to buy or to sell. So if we're here, market has to travel up or travel down. That's the offset in ticks. Zoom on. So everything has a purpose here. You can adjust it. It does not use, I'll tell you one thing, a lot of people ask me if it uses any conventional indicators, and it doesn't. It doesn't have any linkage to momentum or averages. It's really price action based, breakout based, trailing stops. I mean, it's something that I haven't seen really anywhere. So it doesn't use any conventional indicators. The algorithm for this is based on what the price is doing, and not only that, it updates on every candle, which it doesn't just wait. Let's say that it gives you a signal or it calculates something and just stays there for an hour until it happens. So each candle that is moving this long, it almost like walks with it in a sense, or it's like traveling with it. So if the market goes up and you're not filled, it'll travel with it. And then let's say the market reverses, it's here to catch it, as opposed to the original. If it just put one signal and waited, it's all the way down here. But it almost like walks with or travels with the market as it's moving up or down to try to catch you in earlier. To give you a little insight on it. It comes with preset settings on the in the member site. We have an Autopilot like member section, and it has there different variations for the Nasdaq, the crude, the E-mini. It has a 20-minute hourly. I haven't added the 15-second yet because I'm still testing it. And I get emails every day from people that are using it in even ways that I couldn't even imagine using it with. Somebody mentioned Renko charts. So I'm not big on Renko charts, but I know a lot of my guys use Renkos. And so some people are using it with Renko. I haven't even gotten that far yet. I like the 1,000-tick chart. So the settings that I really focus on, me personally, when I trade this is the following. I like the times. My main concern is to pick a part of the day where I have the highest success. So if you're trading, right as the market closes, let's say, right as the market closes, typically what happens when the market closes is there's a squeeze on day traders, and it usually increases in volatility, which is not really clear what's going on because everybody's getting out of their positions. They're trading on margin. And so I don't like to trade right up until the close. So my main concern is to pick hours of the day that fit in to the best, highest probability of success. If you're trading right as a news event is about to happen, the news event could totally, put a wrench in this. The news event will get you in, get you out, stop you out. It's like a free-for-all during a news event. So I'm really trying to avoid situations that I can't control. And that's one thing, the trading hours, right? So even if you traded from, the 15-second chart, I like to trade from 11 to 1:15, just 2 or 3 hours. There's no disruption, there's no news. I mean, there's always possibility of something could happen, but I like that. Maximum bars in a loss here, it's 32, but this is a 15 seconds. So you got to remember how many bars are in 15 seconds, right? So I tested it, 32 bars, 15 seconds work well. I like large targets. Some people like small targets. So I like, once I'm right in a position, I just want to see it go and trail a stop. And if it doesn't, it'll stop me out. I'm still able to make something out of that trade because the trailing stop allows that. So I focus on the time. I focus on the trailing stop. Right here, I focus on the trailing stop. Break even, once it goes in my favor 2 ticks, I like to trail it. So there's a lot of things you can do with it. It's really versatile. It has a lot of options, and since it's based on price action, I think it's worthwhile. Let me see if I missed any questions here. Ed, okay. I'm just forwarding this to everyone. All right, everyone. I'll let everybody go. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. Spend an hour with you. If you do have any questions, I'm happy to answer them by email, or you can give me a call and I'll get back to you. Yep, Betty, I recorded it and I'll put it on the blog. If you're new to day trading and want to learn more on the benefits of trading the markets, visit DayTradeToWin.com, join the next mentorship class starting later this month, and subscribe to the Day Trade to Win YouTube channel. We focus on price action and work exclusively with new and beginner traders who want to learn more on how to prosper from trading.